Everybody, Lefty losing it Tuesday. Lefty losing it Tuesday. Yes.
Fill up my car.
I've been hearing some people talk about the gas prices going up. And it's like, that's quite interesting. Because the last time I checked, Joe Biden had gas prices through the roof. I mean, out the wazoo. And none of y'all had anything to say about it.
Nope.
But now, after gas prices have tanked, and now they're creeping back up, now all of a sudden, you got something to say about it? So it was cool when Joe Biden had gas prices right? But now you got a hoot and holler because Trump has them slightly up again. And they're going to be up for a few weeks. Gas prices were high for 4 years. They might be high for a few weeks now, and you crying? Come on now, stop.
Good morning.
Stop it with the nonsense. Stop it. I ain't letting that slide.
Currently in Walmart, I'm trying to just get something real quick.
How you been?
I want to notice how long it takes for somebody to acknowledge my presence.
Is there any way that there's some way you can acknowledge my presence and move it out of the way so I can get some chicken?
You can suck my dick.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
Morning.
Get out of my face. Get out of here.
Gas prices were high for 4 years. They might be high for a few weeks now, and you crying? Come on now, stop it. Stop it with the nonsense. Stop it. I ain't letting that slide.
Currently in Walmart, I'm trying to just get something real quick. I want to notice how long it takes for somebody to acknowledge my presence.
Is there any way that there's some way you can acknowledge my presence and move it out of the way so I can get some chicken?
You can suck my dick. Okay? Yeah. Get out of my face.
What you want to talk about? I'm right here.
Yeah, come back later.
Now, I'm going to have to edit that out because there was some F-bombs and some female dog words thrown in there. Is there any way you can acknowledge my presence and get them out of the way?
Crazy.
Yo, that's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. I can't stand people that do mess like this. Just be out in public, bro. Like, are you not embarrassed? Like, I would feel so awkward recording myself out in public. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, there's almost 1.8 million of y'all.
Right, the gas prices are high right now, but they go down.
Really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
Compared to Joe Biden, how long was it? About 4 years?
Already hit that subscribe button. What you waiting on? But even with that many people, I would still feel awkward just being out in public. Like, hey, yo, what's up, y'all? That would be so awkward. I don't know. Anyway.
Who that approved this? Who that approved this? I don't remember Congress saying anything about this.
Oh, so that's the route you're taking.
Right.
I don't remember Congress approving Barack Obama bombing the crap out
Okay,
of
the pandemic, right, but
to the point where he died. Yeah, I don't remember. And actually, you can actually pull up those images of Gaddafi's lifeless body, which I don't encourage you to do.
okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I came across them by accident. This is a while back, but yeah. Don't go searching, because you shall find what you are looking for. Trust me, and you don't want to see it.
There are nurses and teachers and U.S. soldiers and all kinds of healthcare workers who are MAGA. Like, think about that for a second. some of your OBGYNs, some of your nurse practitioners, some of your pediatricians are MAGA. Oh my God. Like, that actually just terrified me. I mean, do you feel what I feel?
No.
When I just said that to you? Like, does it make sense? They are MAGA. I ain't gonna lie, that just blew my mind. Just thinking about that. It just popped up in my head.
You know, part of me wishes there was a way where we could, like, you know, kind of secretly communicate to let each other know, like, you MAGA? Yeah. We rocking. You know what I mean? Because I understand a lot of folks who vote Republican, especially who vote for Trump, don't want to be bothered, don't want to be messed with. We understand how crazy these leftists are out here. So there's no yard sign, there's no flag, right? There's nothing indicating whatsoever. There's no bumper sticker whatsoever, you know, that you vote Republican or that you support Trump. I get it. I think we should. I think we all should. And overwhelm these folks, because the fact that we don't makes it seem like there's more of them than there are of us. But in reality, there's more of us than there are of them. But I understand it.
Right.
So I wish there was a way that we could, like, low-key communicate, you know, like an inside thing. Something that was obviously secret, you know, or something, or something we could wear, you know, like got the little red patch or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just wish there was a way, because I would definitely feel safe, you know, having a nurse or a doctor who was MAGA. 100%. 100%. But that's just me. Y'all let me know how you feel in the comments, all right?
If you're not Texan, I don't care what you have to say. Jasmine Crockett should have won.
No, she should not.
She was
Well, it's based on what policy?
I get that James Tallarico had a great campaign, and he's a very impressive, shiny man, but once I looked at their campaigns and their actual issues, it was like comparing apples and oranges. Jasmine had all the receipts of things that she's been doing to fight for us. James Tallarico had a bunch of fancy promises.
Fighting for us, saying that Trump is bad is not fighting. He just talking shit. That's not fighting. She had no policies, no laws written, and nothing. He said he had a touch. Doc Rich not out of touch. He on point.
And now we're stuck with him. I'll vote for him in November because we need to turn Texas blue. And if you're not Texan, I don't care what you have to say. But I'm very disappointed in my fellow Texans because Jasmine Crockett.
Because they're not on the plantation. That's why they're getting off the plantation. Fuck that plantation. Democrat Party don't care about us. They want against freedom. They want to keep us in freedom. The same thing with COVID. Stay in the house. Let us go outside and be free. We got to stay in the house. All the blue states kept us in the house. The red states out there operating. Stop voting blue no matter who.
Should have won.
Bro, I don't know where all this qualified, underqualified, or not qualified, overly qualified stuff came, like when it started. But I'm getting sick of Democrats already with it. They like repeat that same kind of stuff all the time. That's also the thing with the Democrat Party. They all repeat some of the same stuff.
How you doing, Irma? Good morning.
It's like the same stuff, and they call us a cult. They repeat some of the same stuff. Oh, shit. For somebody that they liked, they were overqualified. What does that even mean? Oh, my goodness. Jeez Louise. Oh.
Higher cases. No, they did.
I noticed that too, though. Like Democrats, like all say the same stuff. It's like they're robots, you know?
This message is to the state of Texas.
Yeah, I'm still on my lunch break, and I want y'all to hear this. Y'all had one job to do. One. And you could have did it right. But instead, y'all elected somebody who's unqualified. Again.
They both unqualified.
There we go with the qualified.
Tallarico talking about some Jane Tallarico talking about God is non-binary. That's crazy as hell. And Jesus non-binary. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. That's not even in the Bible like that. God said man and woman.
Who's unqualified or overly qualified. Jeez Louise. All repeating the same stuff. I'm telling you.
Right. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
They all do it. So strange.
Well, the peace, it starts in war and goes down to Florida and hang out in his mansion where he's protected by millions of dollars worth of our people, watching over his peace. And this is what you voted for, you MAGA? A man who's going to start a war and then go hide in his mansion? Don't forget, he's got a basement in there, a bunker.
Good morning.
The worst thing that could happen to our country at this time. In other wars, we would get help from other countries, but other countries are not going to help us in this one. And we'd be dumb as a rock to put people on the ground in that war. They would not survive. It would be suicide.
Like and subscribe, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you.
Oh man! So you're mad that Trump went back to Mar-a-Lago?
Well, Paul said the Democratic Party you agree with.
Joe Biden went on vacation.
They all for the other people. They for the immigrants and overseas. They don't care about America at all. None of these policies is for America. Please let me know which one is for America.
Nothing.
Because everything I hear is orange man bad.
Like stumbling across the beach, like watching it, I thought any second he could fall. I mean, it was horrible to watch. I was like, yeah, bro, this man is about to fall. Or he's about to turn back around because there's no way that he's going to walk across this beach, keep walking across. To his credit, he did. He kept walking and he made it over to his chair and whatnot, but did that look bad? That looked horrible, watching him walk across that sand and barely able to stay upright, Jeez Louise. But that's the double standard, man. Joe Biden went on vacation on a beach or to wherever, right, for over a third of his presidency. Nobody said a thing. Not even mainstream media. Mainstream media stayed silent. I mean, that's what we expect from them, of course, but still.
I'm a leftist, and today MAGA paid for me to get a manicure and a pedicure because I told them to. Stop arguing with these men for free. I am a leftist dominatrix, and my primary clientele base is MAGA men. So stop giving these men what they want. Stop arguing.
Robo, you said draft Byron Tom. Okay, well, all these celebrities that got money, send their kids as well, because half of them not going to send their kids. That's crazy. None of these celebrities talking about some send Byron or this person, that person. They ain't sending their kids. Send me as well. Okay, I'll fight for my country.
With them in the comment section. Stop going back and forth with them on Facebook because they get off on it. They feed on it. It literally turns them on. And I just so happen to be somebody who has figured that out. So don't do it for free. If they want to argue with you, say come into my DMs with $25 or get blocked. And then I promise you they're going to come into your DMs asking you for degrading voice memos, pictures of your feet, pictures of your palms, your nails, and you can, obviously be careful, be cautious, but stop entertaining these men for free. Use it to fund your leftist life, ladies. And to the MAGA men in my comments, my DMs are still open for you, Piggy.
Something tells me she's lying, but then also, fellas, what y'all freaky asses out here doing? Y'all out here paying chicks to degrade y'all? Now, once again, I think she's lying, but just in case. It disappointed
No, when
me,
I fight for my
fellas.
country for the wrong reason. That's
It
stupid.
disappointed me. Now that's some freaky deaky stuff right there. That's what you get off to. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. But fellas, don't you do it. Don't you do it. All right? Stop it. I think she's lying, though, personally. But y'all get in the comments to let me know. Ladies, I want to hear from y'all. Is it true? Is it true? Snitch on these fellas. Expose them. I need to know which one of these freaky Republicans out here doing some mess like this, bro. Y'all about to get exposed. We can't be having this. we exposing you today, brother. Ladies, expose them. If it's true, like I said, I think she lying, person.
Yep.
She was speaking in a different accent as well, because this is what she does.
The UK Prime Minister is very, very, very loved by the extremists in the Middle East. Why? Because he's weak.
Earth to Gavin. The vanity of this absolute idiot. This is exactly why he is the Ken doll. I mean, he's like, I love it when you ask me about my looks.
The leadership in Los Angeles is poor and that we need change and that women don't have any rights.
This is Danica Goes Global from Sky News Australia.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Danica DiGiorgio. Have a look at this social media post from the White House called Justice the American Way.
Facial this fight.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way. I am the danger.
I love the White House. I mean, this is incredible because Donald Trump is taking on the brutal Iranian dictatorship head on, and he's winning. He is winning. America is in charge.
We're winning the war by a lot. We've decimated their whole evil empire. It'll continue, I'm sure, for a little while. But very proud of the people of America.
Boom. Boom. But as you can
Robo,
imagine,
he said the
though,
worst
right
administration in history. He's talking about
the
Biden
leftists
and
just
Harris.
can't help themselves, can they? No, they're
Biden and Harris want to flood the gates open. Sent them all to Texas, and Texas like, nah, F that. Send their ass across the states, and that's what happened. Kamala Harris supposed to have made sure the border was secure like Tom Homan is doing. That's what I voted for, secure the border. And that's what's going on right now. And Tom Homan was the same guy that that Obama had. Y'all was cool with him when he was working with Obama. Now he with Trump. Oh, it's bad.
never can. How's this from Hollywood has been Ben Stiller? He's having a massive tantrum about that White House video. He's posted, "Hey, White House, please remove the Tropic Thunder clip. We never gave you permission and have no interest in being a part of your propaganda machine. War is not a movie." Tragic, sad, loser behaviour and derangement. Because does this look like propaganda to you? And guess what? Trigger warning, Ben Stiller. Trigger warning. You might need a shot of morphine when you see this next clip because they love Donald Trump. Amazing, isn't it? You know, when you think about it, the left are just so bloody demented. They're so stupid. They call for freedom, right? You know, because they claim to be the most tolerant of them all, tolerant left. So Donald Trump gives the Iranians a genuine chance at freedom. And for some
Good morning,
reason,
good morning. Like and subscribe, everybody. Name is Deunta.
this is what the right
like and
side
subscribe.
of history looks like.
Subscribe.
The right side. Have a look at these Israelis celebrating in a bomb shelter.
Ayatollah Khamenei, he's dead.
I mean, they are out living their lives. And let's make this dance go viral.
Khamenei is dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
Seriously, whoever made that song, like, make them go famous. It is a brilliant. And yet, on the other hand, I now present to you the left, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just what's happening now. Iranian people right now, they're going to their deaths. Professor Morandi is telling us this. Khamenei, I know people are going to yell at me by saying this, but Khamenei said, and this is not a lie, this is true, these people are selfless. These people are selfless, egoless. This is something the West doesn't understand.
Why are you crying, Karen?
About modesty and humility. Like, I have a sticker I want to make. Bring back humility. Have some humility. Have some heart. Have some mercy. He was told, you're going to die. You're going to die if you stay here. He died with his whole family. Martyrdom.
Sorry. Have some heart. Have some heart, she says. Have some mercy for the Ayatollah, a man who murdered his own citizens, shot and killed protesters in the streets, beat up women for showing their bodies, faces and hair, and hung gay men. And she says, show him some mercy? Show him some mercy. How suicidally stupid can one be? Weapon grade level of dumb off the charts. But this one really sent me, and I present, and get ready for it, the Feminists for Palestine.
Right, man. That's a good one. I like that one, too.
Like a bunch of shrieking banshees supporting the Iranian regime. So-called feminists, but actually anti-women. Now, I would love to see these feminists carry on like that in downtown Tehran and without covering themselves up. Seriously, please go. Really, go and give it a go, and we'll all watch you, just like these lefties should.
I think that people have misconceptions about religion, especially with Muslims and Islamic regions.
I was not expecting you to be so pro the Ayatollah and pro dictator.
Well, yeah, we have a dictator in our own country.
I have a challenge for you. We will buy you a ticket, a one-way ticket to Iran.
Wait, really?
Would you go? Would you take that?
Really? Yeah.
Are you part of the LGBTQ community at all? Do you want to go with her? Do you want to bring your boyfriend?
Sure, why not?
Oh, very
Come on, Dave. Come on, Dave. Yep, you a bot.
Sure, why not?
Gotta go.
Do you know what they do to gay people over there? They hang them from a crane. They hang them from a crane.
I wear my head outside all the time,
right. Nothing
proudly.
going on up here. Nothing at all. The hypocrisy and the double standards are on full display for the world to see now. This is a self-hatred movement from the left
Good morning,
to the liberal
Zach.
media. Former Fox News host Bill O'Reilly said the quiet part out loud.
They want America to lose. So World News tonight on ABC, and I work for ABC, so did you, did 15 minutes last night. Did 8 segments, every segment negative. And I mean really negative.
Subscribe.
Every
Thank you,
segment.
guys.
Not one positive word. Not one word on how bad the mullahs were. And after watching it, I wanted to surrender. We should surrender to Iran. Watching ABC News, we lost. That's how crazy it is. They want Trump.
Well, look, I don't think that. Yeah, and look, he's right, because the left tie themselves in knots of so much guilt that there is no longer moral clarity on who is the oppressed and who are the real oppressors. And only when it comes to the West, they hate the West. Have a look at this in New York City.
Kill another soldier now! We will honor
Why y'all out there? Oh my goodness.
From the belly of the beast.
Straight brainwash.
Anti-West, anti-democratic values. And you know why? You know why? It's because it's Donald Trump. And I think that Fox News host Greg Gutfeld, he nailed this. Have a listen.
They forgot October 7th. That's why you have the plight of the Palestinians, which is a media-generated story. They forgot the tens of thousands of Iranians that have been killed in the last month. They always choose the bad guy because Trump sides with the good.
Exactly. And as I said, it's because it's Donald Trump. Well, now, the Democratic West, the liberal-loving Democratic West, is laughing at the left, okay? The tables have turned. They have been reduced to the stupid.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let's grow. Common Sense Channel.
Where
MAGA.
Jews and British citizens gathered with effort.
If you're not MAGA, it's cool. I'm MAGA. Everybody's welcome to my channel. Welcome to the chat. Let's talk and learn from each other.
G's of Khomeini's coffin topped with a rat.
Ayatollah Khamenei is dead. Ayatollah Khamenei is dead.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Good morning. From Ohio. Okay.
And there's more where that came from.
Deontay, I'm from Chicago, live in Rockford now. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Let's grow. Thank you. Ryan Smith, yes, finally a Common Sense Channel. Thank you.
Oh, we love to see it, don't we? That was an Iranian state TV news anchor, by the way, crying over Khamenei's death. Okay? Now reduced to a song.
Thank you.
And that is all these losers are worth. So I say thank you. Thank you sincerely, President Donald Trump. Well, here we go again. A pair of ISIS-trained extremists have been charged with hurling an IED near New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani's residence during an anti-Islam protest. The pair allegedly packed the homemade bomb with Mother of Satan, a volatile explosive favoured by international terrorists. Mamdani was inside at the time, but is okay. Joining me now is Emmy Award-winning journalist Stella Escobedo. Stella, a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you very much for joining me. In the New York Post, they're reporting that the 18 and 19-year-olds were both self-radicalised in recent years and travelled to Turkey and other terror training hotspots. My first instinct was, well, here we go. This is Mamdani's New York City.
Yeah. Here we go. First of all, thank you so much for having me on, Deunta.
Yep.
And, I actually posted this to my social media, to my X account. Like, kudos to New York Post, because the mainstream media is not reporting that they were, ISIS-inspired. These two guys, their parents, one of them is from Turkey, the other one is from Afghanistan. And you saw what happened. It's been a mess the last couple of days in New York City. First, we see Mamdani's wife, who's liking a bunch of posts of October 7th, celebrating, the massacre, the rape, the stealing of people. Olivia Reingold, who works for the Free Press, actually said that she discovered like 70 plus posts. Mamdani comes out and then says, well, she's just a civilian. She has nothing to do with my administration. Oh, but isn't she the first lady of New York City? Okay. Then we have these radicals who hurled basically a dirty bomb at peaceful protesters. It doesn't matter what you think about these protesters because they're making them seem like, alt-right, Jake Lang, whatever you think about them. In the United States of America, Deunta, you are allowed to protest. You're allowed to chant, globalize the Intifada, which we're actually seeing now. But what you are not allowed to do is kill people. And that IED could have hurt a lot of people. And then, I don't know if you saw this, Mamdani came out. He didn't mention anything about these two Muslim men. And one of them who threw the bomb was shouting Allah Akbar, okay? And he basically blamed white people, white supremacy.
Yeah, that seems to be the left's excuse now, that they love to blame white supremacy for any issue pertaining to radical Islam. And it's because, of course, they like to protect certain people in the community, and yet it's the West that suffers. And I want to ask you about ththose posts by Zohran Mamdani's wife. This is Rama Duwaji. This is an absolute disgrace. So she's gone, as you said, like celebratory Instagram posts on the day of Hamas's October 7 attack. And I'll take our viewers through them. The posts included images allegedly taken from live-streamed footage of the attack showing a gleeful group riding on what appeared to be a commandeered Israel Defense Forces vehicle with the words "resisting apartheid since 1948." In another, it said "breaking the walls of apartheid."
I'm a MAGA because the borders are closed. Men are men. Women are women. I believe in Christianity. And not only just that, Democratic Party doesn't love us. They don't like us. They like the illegals. When Trump asked them to stand up, they sat down. That right there, where to start from? Let's see. Give me a minute. I'm going to get back to you. Give me a minute. I'm going to break it all down.
Military occupation, October 7, as you can see, with a bulldozer used by terrorists to breach the barrier between Gaza and Israel. There were so many other highly inflammatory and anti-Israel posts, and you alluded to this. Here was Mamdani's response when he was asked about it. Have a listen.
My wife is the love of my life. And she's also a private person who has held no formal position on my campaign or in my city hall. I, however, was elected to represent all 8.5 million people in this city, and I believe that it's my responsibility, because of that role, to answer any questions about my thoughts and my policies and my decisions.
Stella, how weak and pathetic is that? I mean, there are around 1 million Jews living in New York City, and he says, no, well, it's fine, it's got nothing to do with my wife. What do you make of this gaslighting?
First of all, she is
Profo, good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Basically supports terrorists. I mean, she's made that clear. She lives in the same household as you, so you guys don't share the same ideas. You do, because we've seen who he's filled in his administration, a bunch of anti-American, anti-Israel Jew haters. But what I will say is, WABC radio host Sid Rosenberg, who's a good friend of mine. I was just on his show a couple days ago when I was in New York City, and he was getting a lot of heat for basically calling out Mamdani and calling him an anti-American jihadi, and
I'm MAGA because I'm a Christian. Men should be in men's sports. Women should stay in their own sports. Stop killing our kids. Abortion is murder. And Democrat Party, even the Democratic Convention, they pushing abortion. They had an abortion ban out at the United Center when it came to Kamala Harris convention. Why would you have an abortion clinic machine or a van outside Democratic Convention running for presidency? They want to kill our kids. And as a black man, we need to stop aborting our babies, period. Kill the rapists. If you want the baby, get an abortion. And all they doing is pushing to kill us. We supposed to be united together, United States. Let's stay united. And I like Howard Trump. He's very honest. He's real. And when it comes to him saying he's going to do it, he's doing it. Every Democrat that ran, they say no taxes. We ain't gonna raise no taxes. Now taxes going up. Like in Chicago, you got Brandon Johnson, and in New York, you got both of them saying they're gonna raise property taxes. And guess what? They're raising property taxes. Chicago, the Bears finna leave. What else? Give me a minute. I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna keep on going back and forth. That's what the whole point of having this show, to rant and rave. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on.
Use the word cockroach, yeah, but he wasn't saying Muslims are cockroaches. He was basically calling.
And if Trump is bogus, hey, send them all to jail. But as far as the Epstein file, it's mostly the Democrat Party that's part of that. So, and come to me, I find out Trump was the one who told on Epstein.
Islamists that he got so much heat, he had to apologize. Mamdani called him Islamophobic. Okay, so it's Islamophobia. And then I'm confused what Islamophobia is, because now it's like calling out radical Islamists is Islamophobic. So this happens, okay, so Sid Rosenberg is Islamophobic, but your wife is just a private person who is the first lady of New York City, by the way. She represents you. She may not have an official job in the administration. So then there's also, I don't know if you heard about this story, Vicky Palladino. She is a New York City treasurer. She sits on city council. She's being now investigated by the ethics committee in New York City for also
why you
being
ask about the trans
Islamophobic,
people?
for also pointing
Well,
out
they had to do
radical
anything.
Islam, and even Hassan Piker. You know who Hassan Piker is? He basically tweeted saying he is going to sue her for defamation after he live streamed saying, oh, hey, you know what? You don't need suicide bombers anymore. You could just buy suicide drones in places like Russia and China. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. There's so much hypocrisy. So with Mandami, yes, that was a weak response. And I'm waiting to see what he's going to come out and say about the 2 terrorists who were just arrested. By the way, those 2 were arrested, in addition 4 more. So there were 6 people who have been arrested in total.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, I just think it's complete gaslighting. I think, and it's such a shame. But this is New York City under Zohran Mamdani. This is what you get, what you pay for, don't you? You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, I want to bring something up. When we talk about, so right now there's conversation happening online with people saying, we don't even trust the Mandami administration to investigate this incident that just happened properly because his administration is so full of anti-Israel, anti-American people. He hired a lawyer. His name is Ramzi Kassem. He was hired by Mandami. He's the New York City chief legal counsel. So he's basically charged with crafting, NYC legal policy. You know who this man is? This man defended an Al-Qaeda terrorist who was convicted of bombing a oil tanker off the coast of Yemen. He also defended Mahmoud Khalil. So these are the kind of people who are working in his administration. Do we trust him to do the right thing and investigate this properly? I don't think so. And, you even have very smart people in America who are saying, Mandami, resign.
I mean, I'm not surprised. And it's just such a blight as well on the Jews, the good, hardworking Jews in New York City. They didn't want this. They didn't want this.
No,
No, I'm not saying trans is an issue. I'm not saying that, but how about he said, "Hold, you just said a trans issue is why you." No, that's not why I'm MAGA because it's a trans issue. I'm mad because I'm American first policies. Stop sending money overseas. Every president stops sending money overseas like that. I got food by trans. No, that never happened. Yeah, I'm saying that because it's called common sense. Why you want a grown man in women's sports or why you want a boy in girl sports? That makes no sense. We are much stronger and more agile than women. I'm not backpedaling. You're taking what I say out of content, but that's okay. Not just that the sports. So you want men in women's bathroom too? I thought the women want their safe place. What's going on? Okay, then what is a woman then? Y'all don't even know what a woman is when it comes to the Democrat Party. Y'all don't know what a woman is. Y'all talking about everything's non-binary.
They call New York Jew York. And so I can't even imagine what it's like. You know, I have friends and family who live there, and I'm always like, head on a swivel, be careful, because you know what, Denica, when they say globalize the intifada, which, by the way, Mandami till this day has not condemned that phrase, they meant it. We always say that. Believe them when they say it.
Yeah, and we have seen the what globalize the intifada does. I mean, we had a terrorist attack, Bondi Beach, here in Australia a couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. This is globalize the intifada playing out. It is dangerous and it's terrible.
It's your mother, your grandma, your sister,
I want to ask you, Stella,
your auntie,
about Iran
and your female cousin.
Particularly the Democrats.
That's what a woman is.
You know, there's a group of progressives. They voted against a resolution declaring Iran the largest state sponsor of terror. No surprises, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar among the 53 to oppose this measure. You know, the measure actually says Iran poses a direct and persistent threat to the United States and is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of American citizens. And, you know, for the Dems to have adopted a, look, nothing to see here, no, it's fine sort of approach, they seem so supportive of this murderous regime. Why?
I mean, they pretend to be like they're for human rights. They stayed silent, really, when, you know, the Hamas terror machine raped, massacred, and stole people. The IRGC brutally murdered, you know, over 35,000 people. That's not a big deal. You would think that would be a big deal, right? I mean, the only difference between what happened in Gaza and what happened in Iran is that there are 90 million Iranians, and then you have millions more in the diaspora. You don't have as many Jews. So the Iranians and the supporters are not letting this one go. So you see videos, you know, on social media thanking Trump, thanking Bibi. But back to this administration, the squad, yeah, I mean, what can I say? They hate America. They're pro-illegal immigration. They're pro-terror. President Trump exposed them at the State of the Union address when he basically said, hey, if you're, it was brilliant. If you're anti-illegal immigration, please stand up. And they just sat there. And then you saw Ilhan Omar rudely just scream at the president of the United States. I mean, she should be worried about, you know, her state of Minnesota, where the Somalis were basically blinding, robbing us blind here, sending money to terrorists like Al-Shabaab. I mean, everything that they do should tell us who they are. I think the Democrat Party literally supports the IRGC. They support the United Nations. Those are the allies there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not surprised at this point, because you're right. I mean, Ilhan Omar in particular has conducted herself like an absolute disgrace from day one. These people do not represent Americans. They represent their own biases, their own values, which are just so far removed from a Western liberal democracy. And it is such a blight that these are the people sitting in politics right now. You know, right. It baffles me. And it's scary because the Democrat Socialists of America, DSA, it's growing. So what's happening is you're having this Democrat Party who's now going further and further left. And now you see the governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom, all of a sudden he comes out and he's like, oh, Israel is an apartheid state. And I heard him say that. I'm like, wow, why is he saying that? And now I'm hearing that he might go on Hassan Piker's podcast. I'm like, oh, this makes total sense. He wants to run, which there's word for president, 2028, and he's pandering for those votes. So the Democrat Party is no longer the Democrat Party that people know. Now you have to pander to this DSA, which is the left of the left. And it's very scary to see what's happening in the United States, and it's unfortunate. Well, if Gavin Newsom's their best hope, all I can say is good luck to them. Right. There's not much going on up here. Let's be honest. Yeah. Now, look, I've got to ask you about this because a memorial was held for the late Reverend Jesse Jackson. He rose to prominence alongside Martin Luther King Jr. during the Civil Rights Movement. And instead of mourning him, the Democrats turned this into a divisive political clown show. Here was Barack Obama.
We're living in a time when it can be hard to hope. Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other, and that some Americans count more than others, and that some don't even count at all. Everywhere we see greed and bigotry being celebrated and bullying, and mockery masquerading as strength. We see science and expertise denigrated while ignorance and dishonesty and cruelty and corruption are reaping untold rewards. Every single day we see that. And it's hard to hope.
My God, give it up. I mean, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, they did the same. And Stella, it was so embarrassing. Have a listen to Jesse Jackson's son. This is Jesse Jackson Jr. He lashed out at the politicization.
I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson.
You know, Stella, Obama and co, they politicised a memorial for their own agenda, their own Trump derangement syndrome on full display. How disrespectful to do this at an event, mourning an American icon.
Yeah, but it's on par. They'll take an opportunity whenever they can. Kamala Harris, I think she showed up and she was speaking.
I watch all type of news, Australia, Fox, CNN, all of them. And also back to me being a MAGA, the whole Democratic Party is a party of slavery, and they still trying to keep me and everybody else on that plantation. I'm not part of that plantation. I believe in God, American first. That's why I'm MAGA. All the other stuff trying to break down, I'm not going to go through all that. I'm reporting, I'm showing you guys why I'm MAGA. The Democrat Party don't care about us.
Speaking in a different accent as well.
And then also, too, you had Nancy Pelosi in office for like, 40 years? Joe Biden, the same thing, 50 years? Get these people up out of there. They should not be retiring in Congress. That's the problem, too. So y'all keep on saying the party switch. No, it's the people that stayed in there. Vote their ass up out of there. They've been there too long and corrupt. By not being there so long, they no longer become part of the American First policy. And that's about them. And that's petty.
Because this is what she does. When she was on the political campaign, all of a sudden,
Yeah, Trump too old too. Trump is too old too, but at least his policy is about America first. Joe Biden, auto pen in his basement in Delaware. They put up a fake White House press conference room for him. He wanted him in the White House half the time.
Accent. But I'm so happy that you aired that sound with the son, because the family came out right after Jesse Jackson passed away, and this same son said, I just don't want this to be about politics when we go to the funeral. So he kind of put people on notice, and then afterwards he said that. So I'm really happy that you mentioned it, because guess what, the story got buried in the mainstream media. A shocker. This story got
You said Trump used auto pen more. You seen Trump sign the documents.
Very disrespectful, and this is what they do. They found the stage, and they thought this was the right audience at the right time, and they went for it.
Yep, they always hijack things for their own political gain. They're a bunch of idiots, seriously. And we're going to talk about Kamala Harris, because you mentioned the phony accents. We've actually got it to play for our viewers. Here she was, putting it on as she always does. Have a listen.
Let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now. I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it.
Explain my argument. I got to explain nothing to you at all.
Seriously, she
I'm MAGA,
is
period.
so
America
cringe.
first.
And this one comes with a trigger
Why y'all are Democrats? Why y'all are still on the plantation?
warning to our viewers, because she's back again with the same old word salads. Look at this.
Understand, as has been said, the beauty that comes after the storm, when we see what is possible and what can be unburdened by what has been. As he once said, when a barrier falls for one of the locked out, it opens the doors for all.
There was no switch at all. Only Robert Byrd and George Wallace. They never switched. The party never switched. I played like a 5-minute video yesterday, breaking it all down. They never switch.
And that is what he told me, and what he taught me, and how he inspired me.
Oh no, Stella, unburdened.
If the party did switch, when did it switch? Because Lyndon B. Johnson said the blacks gonna vote for the Democrat for the next 100 years, and the Republic and the Democrat Party is voting Democrat, and the Democrat Party has done nothing at all. Everybody complaining about Trump, but yet in Illinois is a blue state. So how is it Trump's fault? And y'all keep on voting blue no matter who. You can't blame Republican and you keep on voting Democrat. Make it make sense.
By what has been, it's back. It's back. She's brought it back.
And Pro4, you saw what I did yesterday. Pro4, you was on here yesterday. I showed you that 5-minute video about how it never did switch. It gave you the time and the history and all that.
Wants to go viral. I'm like, what?
I'll play it
you know
again.
what she said? Because I have no idea.
No, I've got no clue. No.
I have no idea. But again, I told you when she was on the campaign trail, I think she went.
Thank you.
She was in 2024 at a Labor Day speech in Detroit. She made she had a different accent. In Atlanta, she had a different accent. She flip flops when needed. But what's interesting though is, she really, up until the Democrat Party told her that she had to really embrace the black side of her, she became black. But really, she's Indian. Right? She was raised by an Indian mother. That is like her whole heritage. And there's videos of her being like, I'm Indian. I'm like really being proud about her Indian culture, which is great. But then the Democrat Party was like, all right, we're gonna pivot here. You're now gonna be black. And so I just find it interesting because you could be whoever you are, like be who you are, but be authentic and be real. And constantly having these different accents and then saying you're this and then saying you're that. It's like it's playing up to your audience and there's nothing authentic about it.
No, nothing authentic about it. And I say good luck. If the Democrats are going to make her run, fantastic, please.
Yes,
please. Do us all a favour. Do Donald Trump a favour. Exactly. We can't wait to be burdened by what has been once again. Now, before we let you go, we've got to talk about Joe Biden. After seeing this clip, and I mean, there's been some clips of him lately, but I just think to myself, why is he still being allowed to make public appearances? Have a look at this.
If I told you all earlier when I was a kid I had a cleft palate or a club foot, none of you would have laughed. But it's okay to laugh at stuttering. I'm not being critical of you, but think about it. It's the one place where people think you're stupid. Oh, really? I'm a hell of a lot smarter than most of you. But all kidding aside.
Look, Stella, seriously, get him off the stage, please. It's now at the point where it's beyond elder abuse. They need to tell him to stand down and to stop speaking.
I have to tell you, it's really sad. I've been in media and American media here, for over 20 years. And the gaslighting was so real. Like, you're not actually seeing what you're seeing. Don't believe your lying eyes. When we started talking about it and saying, like, hey, is there something wrong with him? Like, he can't even walk up the stairs, or he's riding a bike and he's falling. And we were all told and gaslit by the mainstream media, like, oh my God, you guys are horrible people. You guys are horrible people. And signing bills, like I know when Trump came into office, he has a picture of Biden, which is the auto pen in the administration there. But really, honestly, this comes down to elder abuse, and it's just really sad. That's what if that was my grandfather, like I would say, like, I think it's enough. It's not funny. If these videos go viral, take care of this man. Like, give him some respect at this point. Really, it's just sad. I have to, from a human perspective, and I'm looking at this. If this was my father, my grandfather, I'd be like, don't do this to him anymore.
No, I'm with you. And the sad part is Jill Biden. She's probably at the bottom of the stairs, going, "Well done, you did so well." And I think that she's a massive part. Yeah, you did it. Yeah. Exactly. Stella Escobedo, it has been absolutely wonderful having you on the program. Thank you so much for your time and your insights. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, Donald Trump has once again eviscerated the hapless and hopeless UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Starmer, of course, always 10 steps behind, has now decided to shore up aircraft carriers after initially refusing the US permission to use UK bases for its offensive against Iran. Too little too late, Keir. Donald Trump has posted the United Kingdom, our once great ally, maybe the greatest of them all, is finally giving serious thought to sending 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East. That's okay, Prime Minister Starmer, we don't need them any longer. But we will remember we don't need people that join wars after we've already won. And the pair have since held a phone call where the leaders began by discussing the latest situation in the Middle East and the military cooperation between the two. Joining me now is Arab-Israeli advocate and former IDF soldier Yosef Haddad. Yosef, a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you very much for joining me. Look, what is it with these weak and woke world leaders like Keir Starmer? A key ally is counting on them in a time of crisis crisis, in a time of need, and Keir's running scared.
You know something? When you named Starmer as the UK Prime Minister, I couldn't not to think about Winston Churchill. When Winston Churchill did this sign as a victory against the Nazis, and how the great nation of Britain actually, with the United States, managed to defeat the Nazi regime. Imagine if back then, when the UK came to the United States, and then they would say, you know what? I will send after maybe a carrier here or a ship there. Look, let's put it out there. The UK Prime Minister is very, very, very loved by the extremists in the Middle East. Why? Because he's weak. And when someone is weak, they love him, but they do not respect him. But they respect Trump. And they respect Trump because Trump is strong. Now, they fear him, but they respect him. And they hate him, but they respect him. This is the difference between him to Macron, to not just Macron, as well as the Spanish Prime Minister, all of those leaders who unfortunately are subjugated to the extremists from within own their country. I'm speaking about the woke organizations, all the hard, radical, left, progressive organization, which somehow aligned themselves with the illegal immigrants, extremists coming from the Middle East, yeah? And instead of adopting the Western values, also in Australia, instead of that, they want you guys to adopt their values and not the good ones. And that is the biggest problem. So when you don't fight, or when you don't handle the extremists in the way that you need to handle, they're going to keep asking for more and demanding for more. And when you see some situation like this, you arrive to a very weakened government that will do absolutely everything to maintain the quietness and the silence in their own countries, but they don't understand that they are making more problem instead of actually finding a solution.
Absolutely spot on. And you're right. I mean, it's here in Australia, it's here in the UK. We have brought people in, some who hate us, some who hate our values, and some who have no interest in assimilating in the countries. And this is where the big issues start. I think you're spot on. The other thing that Keir Starmer said, and actually the Australian Foreign Minister for that matter, they want dialogue and diplomacy. Now, you tell me, Joseph, how are you supposed to negotiate via dialogue and diplomacy with a murderous, vile dictatorship that has proven over and over again that it cannot be trusted?
This is just the same old of Westerns do not understand the Middle Eastern mentality. And I'm sorry. I am sorry if I'm honest and direct with no political correct, because I don't care. I need to say the truth because I want to go down in the history as someone who said all the truth without trying to sugarcoat it in any way. So let's give all the truth. The Iranian regime, they want to butcher anyone who thinks of some, in a way, to take them down or to change the regime. That's why they call the Revolutionary Guards. Their mission is to protect the revolution that happened in the 70s, the Islamic Revolution. So they will do everything. That's why they massacred 40,000 plus people just in the last month. That's why they have zero human rights, women rights. And we've been saying that for all the time, but further than that, look at their chants. Since day one, they're chanting death to America and death to Israel. Why they are doing this? Because they know that in order for them to arrive to the big devil, which is the United States of America, they need to get rid of the small devil, which is the state of Israel. And if they manage to do that, then the next stage to the West and to America is even simpler for them. And that's why I will say it clearly. They do not want negotiations. They're going to fool you. They're going to play the game. While they're speaking with you and telling you something in front of your face, behind your back are doing completely the opposite. So I am warning everybody in the West. I am a Middle Eastern. I understand that mentality. The Iranian regime is a terrorist regime that wants to impose the Sharia law, not just in Iran, in every country in the Middle East, and after that, in every country in the Western world. So wake up, because the bottom line is, if we do not destroy the Iranian regime, it's going to be, one, bad for the Iranian people who want freedom, bad for Israeli security, bad for the Middle East, and bad for the Western world. By that, if you didn't get it, with all the evidence that there is against that regime, then you're nothing but a useful idiot to them to promote the agenda of a terrorist regime. So I will repeat again, wake up.
Yeah, look, I couldn't agree with you more. And Donald Trump is not just doing this for America, he's doing this for the survival of the West, because that is a dangerous regime who doesn't just hate America, but hates all of us. So I think you're absolutely spot on. I've got to ask you about the real deranged response to the strikes by the left. Now, I saw that you went out to what looked like an anti-Israel, anti-Iran, anti-Iran strike, an anti-West gathering. And you look like you were being pushed around here. Tell us what was happening.
Well, first of all, this is a great example of the Israeli society. I'm an Arab, and there were actually Jews there protesting against the strike on the Iranian regime. Now, I should say it's a tiny, tiny minority, yeah? But why I brought the information that I am an Arab? Because I hear so many people talking about Israel as being an apartheid state. Listen to me very carefully. If I lived under apartheid state and I did what I did yesterday in that protest, I would be already locked in prison for so many years that I couldn't remember how the light would be. But there I was, an Arab, protesting
Good morning,
against
Jesse.
Jews
Good morning.
who are against the war. Despite the fact that being minority, it was very important for me to come and tell the Iranian people,
Dr. Boot. Dr. Butts, good morning. MAGA, baby.
In Israel and think that the Israelis are against the war or against destroying the Iranian regime. It was very important for me to send them a clear message.
Good morning.
We are with you guys. We want to see your freedom. And your win is our win and your fight is our fight. And those tiny minorities, nothing, barely 20, 30, 40 people, no more than that, they do not represent the Israeli society. And so for me, it was a great message to the Iranian people to tell them we are with you guys and we will fight together. And as well, an information video to any useful idiot who calls Israel an apartheid state.
Look, good on you. And I had a little laugh to myself because you really challenged these idiots. You put a lot of great questions to them and none of them could answer. Have a listen to this.
Why you oppose a war against a regime that killed, massacred 40,000 of its people? 40,000 of its people. What do you have to say to the Iranian people? What do you have to say to the Iranian people? 40,000 of their people died. Killed, massacred. Do you have any message to the Iranian people? Huh? Do you?
And Yosef, they've got nothing to say. They've got nothing. You've got Iranians on the other side of the world celebrating. They're happy. They love Trump. They wanted this. And then as you call them so well, useful idiots, you're asking them questions. Why don't they want to answer?
So let me tell you something. Literally about 5 minutes ago, I was on a live TV in Israel on a debate against one of the leaders of the people, the minority people, the tiny people, those who actually protested. And she was from the LGBT community, execution. And I looked at that activist and I said, don't you see that you guys are like chickens for KFC? Because the same people that you are protesting for are the same people that will demolish you, that resent you, that hate everything that you represent, from human rights to the rights of the LGBT community, to the basic rights of freedom of speech. You don't have it. And you are fighting for those who
That's not AI.
1,000 plus people, they don't have any answer. They are driven by a political agenda here in Israel and no more than that. The problem is that when they spread this message on social media, because, the social media can just take something tiny and make it big,
right?
Then we have a problem of a fake news that they will come and say that the Israeli
thank you guys.
Against
Blessings. Thank you.
Against its own state when they are fighting a just war against a terrorist regime. We will not allow them. We will continue to shout harder than them.
Absolutely, and this is the same, so-called tolerant left who've suddenly now, funnily enough, forgotten about all the atrocities of the Iranian regime. It's really interesting how they've got a selective memory on these things, but only when it comes to Donald Trump. That is so dangerous. And you mentioned as well the feminism. I mean, have a look at this, Feminists for Palestine. I'd like to see them doing that in tape.
They held power for 12 out of the last 16 years, yet they still blame him for everything wrong with the U.S. while they claim they can fix it. Amazing.
Iran and not being covered up as well. But the question has to be asked, Joseph, where are the feminists now?
Well, you know what? If there is a definition of double standard and hypocrites, it's exactly all those human rights organizations.
Look at this, Chuck Schumer. We can't get no IDs. We don't have to use the internet. If you ain't black, you gotta vote Democrat. And all of a sudden now, I can't read, just like black people. This is a Democrat party that y'all want me to vote for and be on that side. And they keep on saying I can't read, can't use the internet. And if I'm black, I gotta vote Democrat. Come on, y'all. It's right here. No, MAGA all day. And after Trump leave, I'm still gonna be MAGA. I'm not MAGA because of Trump. I'm MAGA because of America First policy.
Shouting. What about the human rights of the Palestinians in Gaza? What about the human rights of the Palestinians in Judea and Samaria, which today we know as the colonist name of the West Bank to Jordan, yeah? But this is another story and another history for next time. But the bottom line is that those organizations, they are driven by also a specific agenda that when it's not Israel, they don't care. But if Israel is in it, they care. I always suggested to Sudan. I always suggested to Nigeria. I always suggested to Venezuela, to Cuba, even to the Iranians. North Korea. If you want the world to care, say that the IDF and Israel is attacking you. And everybody will care. Everybody will go and march for you guys. When the IDF, and I saw it on my own eyes.
Selective outrage.
Because despite the fact that it was a top senior terrorist from Hamas, and I saw it in my own eyes, calling off a strike because there were kids there. Kids, they come and attack my country and the IDF, who actually does everything to ensure that it is the most moral army in the world. This is crazy. And you know what? Just right now in Lebanon, I shared a video of a call between an IDF spokesperson to a Lebanese. And in that call, you hear the IDF calling the Lebanese guy and tell them, please evacuate the building. There's a terror activity there. We want to strike that building, but we don't want to kill innocent people. And literally, they evacuated it. And then Israel did a warning strike to say that in a minute we're going to blow up that building. There's a terrorist activist in there. And after a minute, they took it down. Meanwhile, the Iranian regime is butchering his own people, is raping the women who are captured because of the fact that they didn't put the hijab on the right way, and of course preventing from them the basic freedom of speech and religion. And they don't say anything. Have you seen, by the way, the flotillas by Greta, for instance?
Yes.
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. Meanwhile, they're preparing another flotilla to Israel. Hypocrites. And useful idiots, no more than that.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Greta. I mean, she is, useful idiot number one, that's for sure. I want to get your thoughts on where the war is at. Donald Trump says that America is winning, and this is what he said he wanted to see from Iran. Have a listen.
Can you give us an idea of what unconditional surrender looks like to you? I mean, what do you want from Iran?
I said unconditional, not conditional. I said unconditional. It's where they cry uncle or where they can't fight any longer and there's nobody around to cry uncle. That could happen too, because we've wiped out their leadership numerous times already. So it's if they surrender or if there is nobody around to surrender, but they're rendered useless in terms of military.
Yeah, Joseph, I mean, the US is not backing down, but by all accounts, the US is clearly in such a stronger position. Where do you think this is heading?
Well, let me tell you before I say my analyzing where it's going, but tell you what my wish. Look, I've studied the Iranian regime, and I've studied very well their proxies, the Houthis in Yemen, Ansar Allah in Iraq, Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, all of them are proxies of the Iranian regime. They are vicious.
I live in Rockford, Illinois. Once again, I live in the blue state, and I'm MAGA. That should show you. That should tell you something. I'm MAGA. And I live in a blue state. About to lose the Chicago Bears because of dumb Governor Pritzker and Brandon Johnson. Let's go, Brandon.
Vicious. They are terrorists, and they want to kill anyone who does not align with their agenda, their sadistic agenda. Therefore, my wish is very simple. If you cut the head of the snake, you cut the whole body, and then everything is going to be much better in the Middle East. That's why my wish is that we must continue until the Iranian regime is completely destroyed. It is going to be very good for the Iranian people, as I said, for their freedom. It's going to be very good for us, for our security, for the stability of the Middle East, and of course for America, because America is the big target of the Iranian regime. So I urge Trump and I urge Benjamin Netanyahu, you must complete the job. We have...
So once again, when it comes to Illinois, goofy governor and Brandon Johnson gave all the goddamn money to the illegals, damn near $1 billion. They could help the team out as far as, the Bears, but they didn't. So Indiana said, hey, y'all can have this stadium, y'all do you. So they get a better offer, and Indiana's a red state.
We are experienced. Every time we did not complete the job, Hamas got stronger, Hezbollah got stronger, and the IRGC got stronger. So we have to finish the job. And one more thing. When it comes to the Israeli spirit, today I was actually across the entire state. I started my day in the north, up on the border with Israel and Lebanon, ended up here in Jerusalem, but in the way I was in Tel Aviv, and I went where the missile hit as well. The Israeli spirit is unbelievable. They are strong. We are strong, and we are ready. The front command are ready to do absolutely everything to give our fighters on the borders and on the front, to give them the power to continue to fight. That's why I'm telling you, here in Israel, despite the rumors and despite the lies, we are not giving up. We want to win. We are strong, and we want the countries, both America and Israel, to continue until there's a change in the regime.
Yeah, so well said. Absolutely. And I think, any sane person would agree with you, because you've got to fight this evil head on, and Donald Trump can't give up now. And by all accounts, he's not going to. He's been very, very clear on that. Before we let you go, I've got to just ask you about the Liberal media.
I might barbecue.
BBC's altered the speeches of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. They did the same with Donald Trump a couple of months ago. Now, Hegseth said it turns out the regime that chanted death to America and death in Israel received death from America in Israel, but somehow the BBC translated it to the people. Have a look.
That's my backyard. I'm in my guest room recording with you guys.
And death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from Israel.
مردمی که فریاد میزدن که مرگ به آمریکا و مرگ بر اسرائیل، حالا چیزی که دریافت کردن مرگ از طرف آمریکا و اسرائیل.
Look, this is unbelievable, Yosef. I mean, there is a huge difference between the Iranian people and the Iranian regime, isn't there? What do you make of this?
Absolutely. And you know what? I couldn't agree more with you, because we here in Israel are very careful, because we don't have any problem with the Iranian
Yep, God is definitely in control.
Many of the Iranian people
Yep, definitely, God's definitely in control. And Rockford's much cheaper than Chicago. I'm glad I live in Rockford, because everybody in Chicago, they still on that plantation bullshit. And then in Chicago, you got a liquor store right next to a church on every corner in Chicago. A liquor store and a church. Crazy.
Many of the Israelis love and support each other and can't wait to visit in Tehran and visit in Tel Aviv. And that's why it's very crucial to differentiate between the Iranian people that we love to the sadistic Iranian regime. And the fact that they translate it like this is deliberate. And this is what happened with the media today, where they actually take something and then they fix
So I
it.
might barbecue today, probably.
We've been
Right now it's
suffering
foggy,
from
as
this
you
in
guys can
Israel
see.
for the last 2 years. Since the 7th of October, actually, well, actually, we've been suffering from it for many years, but it was way harsher after the 7th of October, and especially from the BBC, when they lie and cite and lie. And every time we try to expose their lies, it's already too late because, you know, the commotion
Thank you,
of the
guys.
social media.
Let's grow. Let's grow.
It's already starting, and you cannot actually stop it. So meanwhile, people thinking that Israel struck a hospital, but it was actually from an Islamic jihad missile that they launched a failed launch and struck the hospital. But everyone in the world echoed the narrative of Hamas. This is unbelievable, and they should be sued, and they should be held accountable for that. And you know what? I'm sick and tired of that. We need also to shame them. So very well for putting that on the show, and very well that I have the opportunity to shame them and say, you guys, nothing but stupid and useful idiots, and they need to know that they are stupid and useful idiots.
Yep, we're seeing it, you know, with the BBC, even the ABC here in Australia, all taxpayer-funded organisations, they're all the same, and the bias has been an absolute disgrace. They should all hang themselves in shame, hang their heads in shame. I absolutely agree. Yosef Haddad, it has been such a pleasure having your analysis.
Where the word pizza comes up.
Man, things are not looking good for Egan, I'll tell you that. We did a video a few days ago. You guys went crazy with that one. And I had to do further investigations onto this, because it seems like the more we dive into it, the more crazy dark stuff is being brought to light. Let's have a look, because some of the stuff you guys have sent me, we're going to cover today, and what you've told me is pretty wild. Let's get into it.
There's a claim circulating right now that the Epstein files reveal Ellen DeGeneres as, and I'm quoting this directly from the Post's, Hollywood's most prolific cannibal. She consumed human flesh.
Guess what? Pizza's here.
Yikes.
Hello. Come on down. I lied. We weren't going backstage.
Ellen DeGeneres is named in the Epstein documents.
Going backstage.
That part is real. Her name.
I mean, Chicago's a good place as far as, you know what I'm saying, like for food, visiting downtown, and the Bears. Come on, man, Bears, go Bears.
A link has now been established between its streets and the political scenes, and the one name that ties it all together is Jeffrey Epstein. Ever wondered why the controversial word pizza always came up with Ellen DeGeneres? Time and time again, she has made it a point to quote unquote order pizza. That 2014.
They all seem to flip and talk about it.
Oh, glory, damn, that's windy.
And all that. It's weird.
Oscars moment when she asked the audience if they wanted to eat pizza and then went ahead and placed an order for it.
Is anybody hungry? I just feel like everybody's got to be hungry right now. Good. I was hoping you'd say that because I have this crazy idea that I will order pizza. And so if I do,
What the?
I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer, yes? Aaron?
Look how many people sticking their hands up.
All right. Too large? What do you think? I'm going to order some pizza. That's what I'll do.
Her interview with Adam Sandler where the word pizza comes up.
I never knew that happened at the Oscars. 2014? Man, they've been talking about pizza for a hell of a long time.
Get on a boat, you cruise down, went over to their house, they made us homemade pizza, and it was an amazing time. I sat next to Bono. It was a good day.
That is a good day.
Then there's that Jennifer Aniston moment. Watch how her body language changes completely at the mention of the word pizza.
These circles of friends that you guys have, you told a story about going and having pizza at the Clooney's in Lake Como.
Yeah, that's all an Aniston. Like George and I would love you to come over for pizza, but
how was the pizza? Was it good? What he making
Mom's
himself?
pizza was better than Clooney's. They both made.
I've never seen two people so uncomfortable to talk about pizza in my life. Wow.
Everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love. Isn't it awkward that during these interviews with famous actors and musicians, they start to talk about going to pizza parties and are constantly describing it as amazing? Well, maybe it's probably because they don't necessarily mean the...
She literally had Diddy on her show multiple times talking about pizza parties at his house, her house. They're obsessed with that. And as we know, as of recent, it's a code word for you know what.
actual pizza with bread crust, mozzarella cheese, and pepperoni on top. In the Epstein library, the word pizza comes up almost 1,000 times.
There it is.
And in a majority of the sent and received emails where it pops up, the email addresses are redacted. Why the need for secrecy if it's just harmless talk about asking about a pizza party this weekend,
right,
or saying thank you for pizza today? Well, maybe it's because it's not just harmless talk.
Look
when
at that.
The Pizzagate theory came up in 2016, people labeled it a conspiracy, a rumor, a lie set up by the Republican to make Democrats lose the election that year. But fast forward to today.
Who let her on the show? Yikes.
And it is no longer a hoax. It is our reality. And Ellen DeGeneres, her name is reportedly in the Epstein files, where she
Yeah, I'm 43 myself.
as Hollywood's most
November 10th, 1982.
I mean, how can you avoid and get out of those allegations right there? How can you talk your way out of that when you're described in the Epstein files? If your name is even in there, you know, it should be looked into. But if it's brought up that many times and people are saying you're a flipping cannibal, got the worst one as well. She's just getting accused of the worst.
Pizza. It had more sinister undertones than we thought, and what happens when you take a look at the set of her show? Notice any similarities? Same blue and white stripes, the palm trees, even the way everything is symmetrically staged.
Look at it.
It's true.
Oh, well, you know where that is too, right? The similar image to that, right? No. I know Jamie does. What is it? It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now.
Ellen's set bears striking resemblance to the temple on Jeff.
Yeah,
It does.
I remember seeing her show pop up. I've never watched it, but I used to see it pop up here and there online. And I would think, hang on a flipping minute. That kind of looks like this place.
Did she leave America?
Especially that temple he has at the top of the island. I mean, it all looks a splitting image. It can't be a coincidence, right?
Jeffrey Epstein's island. And guess who had that pizza tattoo on the inside of his lips and was also Ellen's show? Erica Kirk's alleged ex-boyfriend, Cabot Phillips.
Damn.
Now, how does Erica Kirk tie into this? Well, turns out Ellen was the one who helped Cabot Phillips get his first real media exposure. Before Cabot got involved in politics, he was actually given a major platform by Ellen.
I didn't know that.
Onto her show, introduced him to a national audience, and even featured his whole family. And at the time, it was framed as this wholesome viral moment after Cabot and his siblings did a zombie
that's a long
prank that was
time.
blowing up online.
Local officials have reported cases of high fever, nausea, death, and even cancer. Yes?
At home right now. There's some sort of a weird virus outbreak that is not.
Crazy.
Okay, well, I'm pulling the driver
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I don't remember seeing that.
Because here's the twist. Anyone who understands how mainstream TV works knows that nothing on a show like Ellen's just happens. Every guest is vetted, every segment is planned, and there's always a
Good morning, Cannon Jack. Good morning.
So,
yeah, it's true. And everything they're saying and talking about is all pre-planned. It's all scripted and everything, or most of it.
So now we're supposed to believe it's all just a coincidence? And here's the part that should really creep you out. Just weeks ago, when you search for the word pizza on the official DOJ site for the Epstein files, it was showing up almost 1,000 times. But now the number of results have dropped. So if pizza really just means pizza, why are they deleting files with that word? But it gets darker. Some people close to Ellen's former DJ, so Stephen Twitch boss, are saying Twitch might have stumbled onto something tied to Ellen that seriously shook him, and whatever he found was disturbing enough that he reportedly wanted to get his whole family out of Hollywood, but then tragedy hit.
On Wednesday, news broke that Stephen Twitch boss died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Self-inflicted? So he wanted to dip out the country. He stumbled across something he probably shouldn't have seen. Well, other people didn't want him to see. He wanted to leave the country with his family, and then he dies from a self-inflicted gunshot wound? Why do I not believe that for a second?
And now, ET has learned that the former Ellen Show DJ left a note behind, indicating that he couldn't go on.
Twitch was found in a motel room, and we were told he took his own life. However, most fans never fully bought that version of events. And now, with everything resurfacing about Ellen and the rumored connections to Epstein, people are starting to ask whether Twitch's demise was really self-inflicted. Because according to the hotel staff, no one heard a gunshot, which is odd considering the layout of the hotel.
that is weird.
What is even more troubling is that he ended his life only 3 days prior to what would have been his 9th wedding anniversary. Sources
See, I didn't even know this. There's so much stuff she's just she's just linked to so many shady, bad things. It can't get any worse for her.
Claimed that he was on the verge of exposing something deeply troubling about Ellen, but then got silenced, allegedly. So Erica Kirk's ex Cabot Phillips gets exposed for that pizza tattoo, and we find out that Ellen, allegedly Hollywood's most prolific cannibal, gave him his first platform. Are we really?
Yeah, why would any guy with the conspiracy around the word, why would he get that tattooed on his lips? Out of all places, on his lips. Well, why would you even get pizza tattooed on you anyway?
Supposed to believe all of this is just some random coincidence, especially when you find out that Charlie Kirk openly claimed that pizza wasn't about food at all. And this was a long time ago. If you scroll through his account, you'll notice multiple posts where he directly talks about pizza being a code word for something dark. Fast forward to now, and these new Epstein files supposedly prove this pizza theory was true the whole time. In the emails released by the Department of Justice, Epstein and his friends talk about pizza parties a lot. There are dozens of emails asking about upcoming pizza parties, planning pizza parties, or talking about how much fun they had at previous pizza parties. Now you would think from all of this that Epstein was the world's biggest pizza fanatic, but actually Epstein was a health nut who allegedly wouldn't even let his chef cook pizza for his friends. Here's what one of Epstein's accuser, Virginia Giuffre, wrote in her memoir, Nobody's Girl. Epstein was strictly disciplined about what he ate, subsisting on tofu, salmon, chickpeas, ginger, and other foods he deemed healthy. So why on earth would a man who never eats pizza constantly be throwing pizza parties? Now, circling back to Eric.
Now we know why. Now we know why. And it's there was a lot of code words being used, and celebrities would always talk about it in this weird way. And we can see, like with Jennifer Aniston and other celebrities, they get uncomfortable talking about pizza. And they always talk about it in just this weird way. I think a lot of us have known for a long time that it was a code word for some shady shit.
Erica's ex, Cabot Phillips. It's not just his lip tattoo that's weird. He kept bringing up pizza over and over and posting strange stuff like pizza talk is the new pillow talk. He was also caught liking some weird comments on his pizza tattoo post, including one that said, one bite, everyone knows the rules. At what point do all these coincidences start feeling like a pattern?
Man.
When it comes to Ellen, there are way too many disturbing rumors swirling around her to cover in just one video. But once you start connecting
Happy
the
Tuesday. Thank you guys for being with me in the chat. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Even the show and the conversation she was having with Diddy, and we covered it in the last video we did, where she fled the country as he was being charged. And they seem to be best buddies.
Deaths of people close to her like Twitch and even her ex-girlfriend Anne Heche, it starts to get really dark.
Man.
And now people are asking the questions no one wants to answer. Just how deep does this Ellen rabbit hole actually go? Well, sources say deep enough that it all ties together. Hollywood's supply of all those pizzas had to come from somewhere. And when you tie that to Erica's association to Romanian angels and alleged CT operations behind the scenes, the lines draw too close to ignore. So many things point to the notion that Ellen DeGeneres.
See, it seems like a lot of people are on two sides of the fence. One side is, you know, they stand with what Erica's doing and they believe what she's doing and what she's saying. And then there's the other side which don't. You guys have to let me know what you think down in the comments.
Was definitely in on it, and Cabot Phillips knew too. But how about Erica? Was she just an oblivious pawn in the game, blind to the truth? Even though Charlie was never shy of voicing what he knew. How long before you think this whole thing blows over once and for all and all the ties get exposed for good? Let us know what you think about.
I haven't really spoke much.
Yeah, I like him from the Office. He was a good actor in The Office.
You know, and you
Dwight
guys know me who
Schrute.
watch my videos, right? I'm a Charlie Kirk fan. We've covered a lot of what he does, and you know,
I'm
I've
gonna look
always
it up. What you
respected
talking
him
about? Let's see.
for what he's done and what he did. But I just something was off. You know, when it happened, I was away. I was in Spain when I found out what happened to Charlie. And when I saw, you know, before I even made it on my flight home, it was literally like the day or the day before, I can't remember, but before I even got on my flight, I was getting sent videos of Erica walking out in front of thousands of people with fireworks going off and all these different places she was touring around, like having like a WWE entrance. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but it just looked off. I'm going to say that. And that's coming from a Charlie Kirk fan, and, I don't know, man. It just seemed a bit weird. The most horrendous thing happened to your loved one. If that happened to my missus, that would break me. I definitely wouldn't be walking out to thousands of people doing all these podcasts and talk shows and going out on stage and all this. I wouldn't even be able to flip and go outside my house, I don't think. That would break me, and it just, I don't know, it just kind of looked strange. Let me know what you guys think, though. But that's not the end of what we're covering today. We got some more stuff to dive into. Let's get into it.
Today, I want to take you through some rare footage buried in the Epstein files and an absolutely insane conspiracy getting traction on the internet. Let's get right into it.
Subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe.
Thoroughly combing through the recently released 3 million pages of the Epstein files.
3 million edited pages. Edited. All the black boxes in there covering up names and faces. They did a sweep through those files first. Let's not forget it.
You don't have to. I want to show you some of the videos we have found that caught our attention. Like this one of what appears to be an older man in a blue sweater and 3 other people, one of them redacted, watching presumably a woman dancing. Now, these 2 people have been redacted by the DOJ to protect their identity. We've replaced the music for copyright purposes, but other than that, this video is unchanged. Take a look.
Let's see it. Oh man, I don't even want to know what they're looking at.
Now, we've played a couple of clips in the past videos from an interview Steve Bannon did with Jeffrey Epstein sometime in 2019, but we took the time to go through the nearly 2-hour interview and pull the footage that you may have never seen before. Remember, this is a video that was allegedly intended to help rehabilitate Jeffrey Epstein's image. In one question, Bannon asks Epstein about Wall Street. Roll the clip.
First got on the trading desk at Bear Stearns in the late 70s or mid 70s. Were you shocked by how little actual understanding of mathematics that the traders comprehended?
Yeah, well, again, we had a Texas Instrument calculator. Most stockbrokers, especially before 1975, if they were good stockbrokers, could add. That's about it. They could multiply. If you could multiply, you were already in the top.
I remember watching this interview, and there is some big warning signs, weird responses and answers from this dude.
15% of stockbrokers. Stockbrokers simply meant there's a story. When I went to the first person, I had no money. And I said, how much money do you make a year? And he said, $400,000.
Yeah.
Impossible. I'm making $10,000.
That's probably more than your family had made in its entire existence.
Yes. And he makes it in a year. I said, what do you do? And he said, it's too complicated for you to understand. He had a brother-in-law, in fact, in this case, who ran the pension fund at General Motors. His brother-in-law would call him and say, buy 1,000 IBM. He'd hang up the phone, he'd write it out on a ticket and walk it to a window. That was his entire skill set. Hello, write what my brother-in-law says, walk it to a ticket window.
Now, here is where he applies his thinking about Wall Street to world leaders.
Or you find most leaders financially illiterate, economically illiterate.
Most political leaders don't come out of a background of finance. Most political leaders come out of a background of being popular. So in some of them do. Some of the African countries, for example, they might have been a military person. They were a general. Or in our country, they would have been an actor. The knowledge of money they don't have expertise. They have no degrees in finance. And this is one of the major problems. So many world leaders who don't really have a financial underpinning make fundamental errors when it comes to money on a country or institutional level. Many of them were just
See, before these files came out, and I remember watching, not this whole interview, but I watched parts of it. It's the first time I'd ever seen him talk. I'd only seen photos of this dude.
What they did in terms of politics. Remember, world leaders are...
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, guys.
Scientists and not intellectuals.
Thanks for the likes.
They're
Thanks for
not great
subscribing.
thinkers, they're great politicians.
Now, for some context, Jeffrey Epstein was imprisoned in 2008 after pleading guilty to state charges of soliciting prostitution and soliciting a minor for prostitution. Here is his account of what it was like.
Solitary confinement, September 14th. And again, some of the public stories about the wonderful time I had in jail and of my work release, which didn't come till months after. I'd been there since June in an 8x10 cell with a bed in the back, 6-foot bed in the back, a chrome sink with a toilet attached to it, and a little piece of metal sticking out that was supposed to act as a table. So in jail, I was in a place that was called the Special Housing Unit, which is for the roughest, toughest, meanest people. They had put me there, they said, for my own protection. So I was in an 8x10 cell with a little slit in the door where they would serve my food.
You know, some of you guys told me that when he was in jail, whether it's true or not, obviously this is speculations, but he used to go out of the prison all day, go and live his life, do what he was normally doing, and then he would return to jail to stay there and then do the same the next day. That's what a lot of people were saying.
A tray about 9 inches by 4 inches. And then as soon as I finished eating, they would take the tray and close it down. And one of the guards said, do you understand there's Wall Street's crashing? Sorry, Wall Street's crashing? What's happened? And he said there's some crisis and some companies are going bankrupt. Yeah, it's all over the papers. We're all terrified we're going to lose our life savings because we have either a 401k or our pension funds. We don't know anything about money. Mr. Epstein, can you tell us what's going on? Am I going to be able to afford my children's education?
I mean, I feel like Epstein, when he's talking to these people, he knows why they're there. He does not want to get asked about the crimes he committed, what put him in jail, and the whole speculation around his island and where he got all his money from and his links to all these politicians and Pizzagate and all this weird stuff going on, right? So I feel like he just says a lot of nothing to defend himself from the interviewer asking him questions about, you know, all the bad stuff he clearly doesn't want to talk about. So it sounds like to me he's just talking a lot of nothing here.
Education, am I going to be bankrupt like this company called Lehman Brothers? And there's another company in the front page today called Bear Stearns. Oh no, I said.
Now this next part,
that was a bit weird.
What life was like in prison is very interesting. Roll the clip.
At the beginning, what were the comments?
It serves you fucking rich guys right that you're here next to me.
There was nothing about your crimes.
No.
So all this rumor you hear all the time about people in prison that commit the type of crimes you commit, that's you're saying in your personal thing is not true.
No.
It was all because you were rich.
Yes.
And it was all because they wanted to borrow money.
Or get advice.
Yes. Where they get advice to go long.
Yeah, sure.
You're telling me
it's just time to buy.
You're telling me in solitary confinement they're interested in going long.
Yeah. They want to know
what does that say about human nature?
Well, what I think that people find, one of the reasons they wanted to keep me in solitary confinement was they're afraid that everybody would want to know which stocks to buy.
I want to take a break from that right now to show you some more rapid fire clips from the files, like this one, where Epstein is seen chasing around 2 girls in the kitchen.
Oh,
I've
no.
seen it before, but take a look.
I've seen this one come up. Oh, man.
Holy shit.
Man. Just horrific, isn't it? What some of these girls had to go through.
And this one of a redacted individual in what appears to be a bikini modeling.
Yikes. I mean, look at all the photos on the wall. Weird.
Now, earlier I mentioned some conspiracies, and I want to talk to you about what the internet has been cooking up, and this one is insane. I need to address something that's been blowing up online since these files started dropping, because every time these documents like this get released, the internet does what the internet does. So there's a claim circulating right now that the Epstein files reveal Ellen DeGeneres as, and I'm quoting this directly from the posts, Hollywood's most prolific cannibal, that she consumed human...
Yeah, I know we've seen this covered in the clip we watched earlier, but a lot of people don't know this, and that is literally, that's not even like a rumor from word of mouth. That is in the files. And she's not just one, she's the worst one. She's the worst of the worst.
Flesh.
Worst
People
of
are
the
sharing
worst.
distorted images of her face, writing paragraphs about underground dystopias, calling her a vampire. Now, these are completely unfounded claims with no evidence to back them up. So let's take a look at what's actually in the files. Ellen DeGeneres is named in the Epstein documents, and that part is real. Her name appears in the broader index of over 300 high-profile individuals that show up across the investigative materials. You know, flight logs, communications, third-party interviews, peripheral records. But here's the thing that people either don't understand or choose to ignore. Being referenced in an investigative file is not the same as being accused of a crime. There are plenty of names in the file that are just referenced by a third party. There is zero evidence in the Epstein files connecting...
Yeah, but I think if any name is mentioned in there, I would be concerned about that person, even if it is just a conversation. If a name is mentioned, they know that person regardless. You know, so they're in the loop somewhere. Definitely worth looking into in my books.
Ellen DeGeneres to cannibalism or any other wrongdoing. That claim is completely fabricated. Community notes on the original X post flags it. The documents themselves contain nothing remotely close to it. Something someone made it up. It sounded insane enough to go viral, and now millions of people have seen it presented as fact. And look, this is important to talk about because the potentially real stuff in these files is damning enough. There are genuine revelations in these documents about powerful people and what they did or didn't do. And when you flood spaces with potentially fake claims about cannibalism and vampires, you actually make it easier for the people who have real things to hide. Because now anyone who brings up the Epstein files may get lumped in with the conspiracy crowd. That's how disinformation works. It doesn't just misinform the people who believe it, it discredits them.
Right. A perfect example when it came to Time Magazine, or People of the Year magazine, how you want to put it. They had Kamala Harris and Joe Biden celebrated Time Magazine. All of a sudden, they put Trump on there. They compared him to Hitler and everybody else that was on Time Magazine, if I'm saying it right. And that's crazy how they switched the narrative like that.
It's the people trying to talk about what's actually true. It's true. What do you guys think? We read every comment as always. We love hearing your suggestions on videos or topics we should cover next. As always, I'm Jackson Duhai, and
it just seems like every time I look at to just go down this rabbit hole, it just gets worse.
Mm-hmm. I clearly had what I wanted to pull up, and now it's not showing. That's crazy.
Epstein prison guard Googled him minutes before body found and made mysterious deposits before pedophile suicide DOJ. Okay, so check this out. This is a little bit sus here, but let me read it to you. So one of Jeffrey Epstein's prison guards Googled the sex predator minutes before he was found dead. This is a New York Post story. and also made a mysterious $5,000 cash deposit 10 days before the predator's jail cell suicide. New Department of Justice documents reveal Tova Noel was one of the 2 Metropolitan Correctional Center workers accused of falsifying records to say they checked on Epstein throughout the night before his August 10th, 2019 suicide.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Criminal charges against both were later dropped. Noel, Google latest on Epstein and jail.
Let's get to 1500, everybody. Get to 1500.
Again at 5:52 a.m., less than 40 minutes before her colleague, correctional officer Michael Thomas, found the disgraced financier dead in his cell by hanging at 6:30 a.m. According to an FBI record of Noel's internet search history that night, earlier that shift, Noel shopped for furniture online and snoozed on the job instead of making the mandated checks on Epstein every 30 minutes while Thomas pursued. Motorcycle prosecutor said the FBI highlighted the eerie internet search in its 66-page forensic examination of the Bureau of Prison desktop computers of Noel and Thomas. It was the only search highlighted. Meanwhile, Chase Bank flagged cash deposits in Noel's bank account in a suspicious activity report to the FBI on November 19th. Another DOJ file revealed a total of 12 deposits. Began from April 2018, the bank said, and culminated in the largest deposit for $5,000 on July 30th, 2019. Vinny.
Okay, I'm actually so happy that we chose this story to be on because I saw this Google trend where because of the Iran war, Pat, it was searched. Epstein was number one, and then it dropped off. But then, because there you go for X, and I absolutely love Elon buying it, these type of stories keep coming up. So with all these deposits, 11,000, 5,000, somebody online was like, yeah, well, maybe her job is good. You're not getting paid that much money in this many times. And what bothers me is the Department of Justice never questioned her about the money. You would think, Tom, with an investigation of this magnitude, with all the stuff that he's...
Right, I'm live streaming on my phone. I can use my laptop to live stream, but when I live stream, it works on the phone more.
It's connected to, you would ask about the money, okay? And then the prison video showed that night, investigators described a strange orange flash moving towards Epstein's tier at around 10:39 p.m. The FBI later suggested it was her carrying inmate linen, which would have been outside her normal prison protocol. So that was false. And then she had also been accused of falsifying prison records related to that night. Those charges, Pat, were later dropped. Weird.
Oh, if you do that, you get this.
She was later sued at a job for, guess what? Alleged assault. That's her, okay? So Epstein had no cellmate that night. The guards failed to perform their routine checks. That's her. That's her. The noose photographed in the cell was reportedly not the one used, according to the Inspector General. Think about that. The noose that he hanged himself with, that's the proper verbiage, not hung, hanged himself with, was not the right one. That's the Inspector General. Okay, and his neck injuries were said to be more consistent with a thin cord. Long story short, here's the bottom line. Either Jeffrey Epstein escaped from prison that night, or he was murdered. Period. End of story. Let's just full stop. Okay, enough of the games. All right? You have the guard Googling Epstein minutes before he's dead, the cash deposits from her, missing checks, 30 seconds that our Department of Justice edited and tried to act like we're dumb, like we weren't going to figure it out. Okay? Shredding documents, and this keeps happening. Guys, this keeps freaking happening. And I saw one more thing, Pat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Together, Rob, I sent you this thing on Slack about Jeffrey right there. Click on this. This is, Pat, Rob, can you go back to the actual tweet? What's the tweet say? Sorry.
It's a sworn
so this is Epstein trained as a spy under the FBI. And I'm going to read this, Pat, if you don't mind. This is, I triple checked. This is an actual document. A confidential human source. By the way, these are people that they trust to get them information that are inside. So this confidential human source was asked by the handling agent about information he or she may be aware of related to improper domestic, that's us, CIA, and foreign influence, Mossad, over the electoral process of the U.S. CHS already provided some of his information documented in previous reports. Now, let me go below. Ready? Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz, the confidential human source, learned that Dershowitz influenced many students from wealthy families. For example, Josh Kushner and Jared Kushner were both his students. Dershowitz told the confidential human source that if he were young again, he would be holding a stun gun as an Israeli intelligence Mossad agent. The confidential human source believed Dershowitz was co-opted by Mossad and subscribe to their mission. The human source continues to communicate occasionally for Dershowitz. And then look at the bottom. Jeffrey Epstein was represented by Dershowitz. And this person, remember, Dershowitz tell Alex Acosta, the Attorney General from Florida, that Epstein belonged to both U.S. and allied intelligence services. They also said that he shared phone calls between Epstein, which he took notes. After the calls, Mossad would then call Dershowitz to debrief. Epstein was close to the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, and trained as a spy under him. But this is all coming from the confidential human source, which they verified. And Barak believes Netanyahu was a criminal. Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States Emirates are allied against Qatar, Turkey, Iran, and Syria. One of the confidential human sources, Blank, who worked for Blank, asked a lot of questions about Epstein and became convinced that Epstein was a co-opted Mossad agent. And co-opted means us and them. The amount of stuff that and mind you, the war is the war. But the amount of stuff released, I saw a bunch of new stuff about Jess Staley and his communications with Epstein and stuff. It's mind-boggling. And every time, like, this is huge. This is huge. And then something else happens and everybody kind of goes the other way. But there is so much to be uncovered. I hate, Pat. None of this has to do with girls. None of this has to do with underage women. But they block everybody's name out. Why?
Tom.
Well, I think we all know what we know, and you can very reasonably conclude, as I concluded long ago, regardless of whether Epstein was a spy or not, he was part of some horrifying things that were going on and connecting himself with some very, very influential and powerful people around the world. Full stop, done. Second, the circumstances of his death are worse than JFK. You have all this stuff. So was this woman, now we find real money from Chase, not speculation, real money from Chase. They actually had a file and charges against her that they later dropped after their investigation. And now you've got all of these things. One of three things is true. Epstein knew that he was going to get killed because he's now caught and he's going to be leaking information, and he hung himself. Unlikely, but it is possible. Second, somebody came in and hung him for him. Or the even far-stretched is that somebody let him out, and he's in Belize or some other far-off place, you know.
Which, by the way, Rob ran a poll, and here's what the poll says right now with 3,000 votes. Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? The answer, yes, 7%.
That's
no, he was murdered, 52%.
Wow.
He's alive, 41%.
And you know what?
And
you got all this evidence.
90% doesn't believe he killed himself.
And good for them. I'm so proud of them because it's right in our faces. Pat, there's no excuse for the Department of Justice to edit a video and put it out and lie to us unless you're trying to cover it up. And we know who he worked for. You know he worked for the CIA. You know he worked for Mossad and combined. And it should bother everybody to the core.
I'm not dismissing that. That bothers the hell out of me.
I know
if he was really Mossad or an agent on both sides, that he's around all these influential people, influencing everything from stock prices to political decisions. I mean, that's horrible. My point simply is just looking at the execution. Like let's leave out Kennedy and the Bay of Pigs and all the Marilyn Monroe and all that stuff. Let's look at the Kennedy assassination and look at all the things are wrong, all the things we discovered lately. That's what I mean. We got the same number of things here, and it's like that wallpaper, Jeffrey Epstein. What do they have in common? They didn't hang themselves.
And it just bothers them. And Adam, I know you want to close with it, but what bothers me is, and a lot of people go, it's not that big of, it's not that important. It's extremely important because if you work for these agencies, all that footage, all the stuff that we can't see, all the documents, all the recordings, all the videos, we can't see it. Those agencies have control over people that were on those tapes and did these things to these underage girls. That really bothers me. That bothers me because then when you see emails about pandemic planning, then you see them asking Ghislaine Maxwell, what the hell does she know about a shadow commission on 9/11? What the hell should she be involved with anything that has to do with 9/11? So when you break it down like that, Adam, when I come down to the children, it's not a big deal because there's a war. No, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal because they were using underage girls getting, the R word and sexually assaulted to get political power and gain. Because why else would he have these relationships with Ehud Barak and all these people? And
to me, that's the deeper horror. Did the Mossad and U.S. intelligence, if he was a mutual agent,
I think he was.
Did they go along with the fact that he was using young kids to corner people?
That's the problem.
And to me, if that's the net that comes out of it, that is the greatest disgust.
It is.
Right. And by the way, as this is going on, like when you hear a story like this and all the people that are sitting on the sidelines that don't look up, nothing going on, nothing happened with this, nothing happened. Now you have to sit there and say, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. And this is not going to stop. I actually don't think this is going away. I think the more and more stuff that they release, these types of stories we're going to keep hearing about. By the way, while we're doing this, you know what just came out? The president just tweeted. Rob, you want to go to this? President Trump just tweeted. Australia is making a this is from the White House. Go to White House's Twitter account. Australia is making a terrible humanitarian mistake by allowing the Iran national women's soccer team to be forced back to Iran, where they will most likely be killed. Don't do it, Mr. Prime Minister. Give asylum. The U.S. will take them if you won't.
Wow.
That's what makes President Trump President Trump. Okay.
Because 5 of them, the fact that 5 of them said, hey, we're staying here. We're not going home. 5 of them are done. But there's still at least 15 of them. That's freaking crazy, bro. Because Australia moved out, and Australia's saying, go, leave, get them out of here.
Yeah, they're
no,
like,
bro, I'm not a fan of that. That sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, again, this is the part that why the world reacts to this. Now, let's see how Australia is going to react to this. What is Australia going to do about this? Now, most likely, they're going to listen to them and have to keep them. But if they don't come to U.S., these are the moments when you hear the phrase asylum, like, why give asylum? It's not Tony Montana. It's situations like this.
Yes.
Why you give asylum? This is not a political refugee, right? This is a real situation that's going on that the president's doing. Adam, you look like you want to say something.
No, just let me know when we figure out the Epstein situation. I'm waiting with bated breath. Are we getting closer? Do we figure it out yet?
Oh, no.
I'm not even being sarcastic.
No, it's not.
Are we getting closer?
No, it's not. We're
No,
closer.
this is like JFK, guys. We're gonna be talking about this 20 years from now. This is like JFK. The longer it goes, the more things are gonna pop out. Something will be unredacted and come out, and there you have it.
And you know what? It's never gonna be done because they control everything. But I do love people like Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton having to be subpoenaed, and the fact that they hate it, that they still have to do it. That's what I want.
51% of you who watch this podcast, and I've helped us go from a regular show with 20, 30 viewers to now, being a top 20 podcast worldwide on Spotify and on YouTube. It's a top 20, top 15, top 10 podcast. It wouldn't happen without you, but it helps our algorithms if you subscribe as well. 51% of you watch the show weekly. You regularly tune in. 51% of you, but you haven't subscribed. I would.
Right, subscribe.
In New York, Mamdani, there's this event going on, Rob. If you want to play the clip, I don't know if you have the clip with New York with these 2 kids. During a rally, which, by the way, the rally is being done by this fellow named, I want to say his name correctly. Is it Jake Long or Jake Lang?
Lang.
Okay,
Lang.
Jake Lang. Show what he is doing. So they're doing a protest in New York City. Go ahead, Rob.
We want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else they're doing nothing.
That's the bomb?
Yeah, threw a bomb.
Who threw a bomb?
The ISIS-inspired.
One kid is Turkey, Rob, from 2017, 2019, and the other one is from Afghanistan or Iraq? Afghanistan, right? 2 boys do this. Now, can you play the other clip with a different angle? Yes. Watch this. In the middle of the protesting, they throw these 2 bombs. In New York, which, by the way, New York is gradually becoming, it looks more like the Middle East than America. But go ahead, Rob. Watch this.
We were born in
different angle.
New York,
he's coming from.
And we want
Look behind
everyone
him.
here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell
us
everyone
when he's coming.
Allahullah.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
Through bomb. Okay, Rob, there's even another clip. There's multiple angles of what happened there. But anyways, while this is taking place, that one right there, on what happens. And then they got arrested. Do you have the clip of them getting arrested?
Yes.
So they caught them. They got arrested. This is New York City, guys. This is not Tehran.
No, it's
not.
not.
Park that Tom's been trying
Good
to
morning,
pronounce
Tara.
75 different times. He had the same problem I had.
Good morning, Tara.
Nation, right? And he's trying to say car. Okay, but this is New York City. So they caught these 2 boys. Okay. Now, can you go to the news on how they wrote article on what happened, the one that Vinny sent you with 50
I slacked you,
different
Rob.
ones.
Oh yeah, I slacked you, Rob, on how it's a compilation of how all the mainstream media described what happened in New York, and I sent Rob another one of a Mamdani just spoke. Rob, but keep going.
Is it a new one?
Yeah,
or
no. So keep going up, Rob. Keep going up. Keep going right there.
So this is how the media reacts to it. Okay, zoom in.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank
Mayor
you guys for being
Mamdani
with
was
me.
home when
Thank you.
protesters
Thank you.
lit device outside his mansion. Improvised explosive found at protesters near Manhattan Gracie Mansion. Improvised explosive device was thrown during dueling protests. Device thrown. Just device. Another one said like a liquid something was found.
Thank you. Everybody's welcome.
TMZ.
And no bots.
Suspicious devices
Everybody's welcome.
outside
I'm a
man's
MAGA.
residence
You don't got to be MAGA.
They stumbled
Just
upon
enjoy.
these things.
Let's have some
As if
fun.
they, whoops, we just showed up. And Pat, did you know? And mind you, Mamdani went on yesterday, and he just said something recently where he's condemning white supremacy. His first thing that he
Kimberly,
said
good morning.
was condemning white supremacy, not the ISIS-inspired terrorists.
Read the tweet, Rob. Read the tweet, Vinny.
Yesterday, white supremacist Jake Lang organized a protest outside Gracie Mansion rooted in bigotry and racism.
I do long form videos too.
It is an affront
I do
to our
shorts.
values and the unity that defies who we are. What followed was even more disturbing. Violence at a protest.
So I go live. I also do long form and short form videos as well. Check it out. Let me know how you think. What you
They
think?
said he called him a white supremacist. Mind you, Jake Lang, if I'm not mistaken, Rob, is Jewish.
I don't know
Turned
about that.
Christian. No, Rob, can you look it up for me? Fact check me.
He is. We interviewed him.
He's Jewish. Turned Christian.
I heard him saying that he's Christ is king and he's
Adam, guess what? You've seen the light, and he's a Christian now. I'm telling
He
you right
was
now.
in jail for 4 years. He claims in solitary confinement for his role in the Capitol
For October,
attack.
for January 6th.
And that's where he says that he found Christ and moved towards a
so he's
Christian
Christian.
direction.
So now he's Christian. Well, mind you, and if you don't mind, Pat, I'm not a fan of what he's doing. I'm not a fan of going in there and provoking people, bringing goats and all that type of stuff. Like, you're asking for problems. That's number one. Put that to the side. But look, can we just recap for last week? A Muslim man wearing a Property of Allah shirt shot up a bar in Austin, Texas, killing 3 people and injuring many others. 2 Muslims threw Molotov cocktails and a nail bomb at Christians in New York City. And then a Muslim man claimed
It's all good.
he was going to bomb a passenger plane in Nashville to Fort Worth, Fort Lauderdale.
You trying to
They had
put
to
awesome?
have, SWAT come on the airplane and remove him. Not this one, Rob. There was another one. But I just want to point out what's happening. These kids were online inspired by ISIS. They show up. Yeah, Rob, you can play this, guys. This was a plane coming to Fort Lauderdale, which is 20 minutes from here. Can you play this, Rob? Can you imagine being on that plane?
You're trying to find a guy.
You're trying to find the guy? Yeah, because guess what? If your hands are not up and you're not paying attention, meaning you're not listening to them, you're the guy. Dude, I would lose my mind.
What the heck?
And that's it. They're taking him off the plane. And look, if you can tell, there he is. Not blonde hair, not blue-eyed.
What did he say? What did he say?
I don't know what he said.
If it's the same video,
Let me guess. It rhymed with Mala Makbar.
Death to America.
No, this is a different clip, Rob. This is old. This is an older clip. But mind you, Pat, 4 other suspects were arrested.
What was the other clip?
That's an older clip.
That's an older clip. 4 other people were arrested.
Yep.
They found another explosive device in his house. And then, Rob, this is Mamdani, and then Robbie, I'm gonna have you show the house of these kids. Go ahead, Rob.
Bearded Vikings. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate
Violent
that.
protest rooted in white supremacy. Titled Stop the Islamic Takeover
Thank you. Thank
of New
you.
York City.
Everybody check out his channel as well.
Of our city.
Bearded Vikings. Check him out.
Bigotry is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home. While I found this protest appalling, I will not waver in my belief that it should be allowed to happen. Ours is a free society where the right to peaceful protest is sacred. It does not belong only to those we agree with. It belongs to everyone. I will defend that right every day that I am mayor, even when those protesting say things that I abhor. Let me also be clear about something else. New York City will never tolerate violence, whether from protests or counter-protests. Many of the counter-protesters met this display of bigotry peacefully.
This is channel. Check it out, everybody. Check it out.
To all.
Like and subscribe.
Few did not.
She's good.
Two men, very good. Amir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi, traveled from Pennsylvania and attempted to bring violence to New York City. They are suspected of coming here to commit an act of terrorism. There is video of these two individuals throwing two devices towards the protest. The police department has determined that these were improvised explosive devices made to injure, maim, or worse. Thanks to the swift and decisive actions of NYPD officers at the scene, both men were immediately taken into custody, and the devices they brought taken off of our streets. I want to commend
Zach, ICE is doing their job. They are federal agents. They're doing their job. The same thing they was doing when Obama was in office.
Really pisses me off. Besides him and his rhetoric, and he's
Get
obviously
him out of here.
blaming white supremacy, not the kids.
Come in the
These
right
kids,
way.
18 and 19 years old, they just threw their entire lives away. They're going to be sitting in a cell for the rest of their lives because they were brainwashed online to think that throwing bombs and killing innocent people is the way to do it for your Allah, for your God, which condones violence of that nature because you're going to be rewarded in heaven. And this is the house. This is the house that this ISIS freaking inspired terrorist lives in. Like, by the way, we have Rob. Where was his parents from? One from Turkey, one from
and from Afghanistan.
And what were they? They were naturalized?
Yes. One was naturalized in 2004, the other 2007.
I don't know what the father's doing, Pat. I don't know what, how good of a naturalized citizen, whatever job that they have. But, like, I'm telling you right now, the more...
Today, on the Vince Everett Ellison Show, I see in my comments all the time when the people saying, there's no difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. They all the same. You always talking about the conservatives and the liberals. They all the same. No, there is a difference. And I'm going to articulate these differences in a way that a fool can understand it. Today, on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. Democratic Party, I'm talking about how bad they are with transgenderism and illegal immigrants and the dope in the fight. They're not crazy. They're not tripping. And the Democrats ain't that crazy. Republicans just bad as Democrats is. I said, okay, right now, I'm going to show you. Take you back to Ellison University again. Give you a civics class on the differences in the Republican and the Democratic Party. Okay? Number one, the Republican Party was formed to stop slavery. Formed. The first pieces of civil rights legislation, if you care about that, was passed by the Republican Party soon as the Civil War was over. They passed the 13th Amendment, which ended slavery. They passed the 14th Amendment, which gave you equal protection under the law and citizenship. Then they passed the 15th Amendment that gave black men the right to vote. Got it? Okay, good. They even passed the 19th Amendment and gave women the right to vote. Yeah, the Democrats were against it. The Republicans pushed it through. Yes, they did.